Welcome back, Giants fans. The Giants get their first win of the year. They beat the New Orleans Saints in a game where not many people picked them to win. I saw some people did. I'll give people their credit when, for those who picked them, but it was a game where I thought they were done. They were down 21-10, and I'll admit, I was sitting there thinking, wow, we're really about to be 0-4. And then the offense turns it on. Daniel Jones finds Saquon Barkley on what looked like a broken coverage in the secondary. He found Saquon Barkley, cut to the middle, made a safety miss. Giants went down 3. Then they get the game-tying field goal later, and they win the game in overtime. So just a perfect day, honestly. The Yankees got a wild card spot. They got their business taken care of. Yes, they're going to play in Fenway, okay, but they still got in the playoffs for now. The Giants get on the board here, get a victory. They go to Dallas next week to play an important game in Week 5. That's all I can ask for. So honestly, being 1-3 is not the best. I'll sit here and say that, of course, obviously, but at the same time, they needed this win badly. If they went 0-4, I probably would have gave up on any hopes of making the playoffs. But now there's that slight glimmer of hope that maybe they can turn this season around. It was a great showing against a good Saints team, in my opinion, especially their defense. Their offense is not as good as their defense, but the Saints overall are a pretty good team. They are well coached, and it was an impressive victory by the Giants here today. Now, offensively, we'll start there as usual. Daniel Jones, a career high in passing yards. Coming into today, Daniel Jones has never had a 300-plus yard passing game under Jason Garrett, and he goes over 400 today against a good Saints defense once again. It was not what I expected, but it was great to see. The Giants got John Ross back into their lineup. They implemented Kadarius Toney a lot more than they had in the past, and they both made a big difference. John Ross had a big, I would say around 60-yard touchdown in this game. Daniel Jones found them on a post route. He bobbled the ball at the end, but I think he crossed the plane. He completed the catch. They called it a touchdown. It stood on the field. That was great to see John Ross make an impact, and I think Ross had a pretty crucial catch at some point in the fourth quarter or overtime on like a curl or a comeback route. So John Ross made an impact. He wasn't the greatest player in the world, but he definitely made an impact for this Giants offense, and hopefully he continues to play. I do want to see him over Slayton, honestly. I am more of a John Ross and a Darius Slayton guy, so hopefully we play John Ross more going forward. And Kadarius Toney, the first round pick, if he was this good, why weren't they playing him the first 3 weeks? It didn't make sense to me. Kadarius Toney looked awesome out there. He was playing majority of the slot, from based on what I saw on the TV, at least, it looked like he was playing the slots for a majority of the time he was out there. And Kadarius Toney had a lot of targets in this game. He was making guys miss. There was 2 separate plays where he made guys completely dive at the air. That's how shifty he was. I think one of them was Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, and it might have been him again on another one. I forget, but he made some guys look stupid when the ball was in Kadarius Toney's hands. He is definitely an electrifying player, and he has to be implemented more. He is a weapon, and the Giants definitely can use some yards after catch type of guys, and Kadarius Toney's one of the best at it, it seems like so far. So definitely want to see more of him going forward. I was happy he was in there. Kenny Golladay, 6 catches, 116 yards, has yet to score that first touchdown as a Giant, but still, Kenny Golladay had a great game. He caught a big slant in this one. He pushed off Malcolm Jenkins, I believe, ran for another 10, 15 yards. He had a nice game in this one for sure. He made a big catch in overtime as well to really set them up inside the red zone. Saquon Barkley, he did run for 4 yards per carry, which is not the best, but that's pretty good for a Saints defense that was, I think, second best in the NFL against the run so far this year. Saquon Barkley had a big catch, as I mentioned on the top of the video, on down the left sideline. It looked like a broken coverage. I think the corner was playing maybe like a cover 3 type look. He had his back to the sideline, and Saquon kind of snuck behind him. There was no safety help, and then Daniel Jones gave him a perfect ball, cut inside, scored a touchdown. So Saquon Barkley, they finally got him involved in a big passing play. It was great to see that, of course. And Barkley has looked better week by week. He's getting more involved in the offense. We barely saw any backup running back today. I feel like we may have seen Devontae Booker once today, if I'm right about that. I don't even know. I feel like we saw Saquon pretty much majority of the game. So that was great to see, and especially getting him involved in the receiving game. Hopefully Saquon can build off that and look even better going forward here. The offensive line. So Matt Skura was, implemented at left guard. The Giants have now their 4th left guard in 4 games here. But this offensive line played amazing today. I don't know what their grades are on PFF and whatnot, but just, once again, based on just watching the game, the offensive line was not the issue today. Daniel Jones had time. There were some running lanes open. I saw Will Hernandez play very well at some points. I saw Andrew Thomas play very well at some points. You didn't hear Nate Solder's name brought up, which is great. So, the Giants offensive line, for the most part, did an awesome job. I think Skura had a holding call at one point. I think Demario Davis got him on a nice move, and he kind of had to hold him with his arm. But outside of that, the Giants Giants offensive line was tremendous in this game. So that was like not what I was expecting, but it was great to see, and hopefully they build off that as well. So Jason Garrett, he was better. The Giants definitely took more shots downfield. Now, this is according to Justin Pennick. I think he got this from Next Gen Stats. I could be wrong about that. But Talking Giants, Justin Pennick tweeted this out. The Giants had 8 plays of 20-plus yards. They had 1 last week. So something changed with Jason Garrett. I made that whole video about Jason Garrett, ranting about how they have to push the ball down the field. And what do you know? The Giants pushed the ball downfield, and good things happened. Who would have guessed? It only took us like a year and a half to do it, Jason Garrett. But you know what? Better late than never. So they pushed the ball downfield. The Giants put up 27 on a good Saints defense here. And when you have 8 plays of over 20-plus yards against the Saints and 1 play of 20-plus yards against the Falcons, it really makes me think, what the hell were they doing last week? We should have won that game if we had that same philosophy. But that's in the past, and hopefully they keep this same philosophy going forward. Push the ball downfield. Daniel Jones can throw the ball well deep. That's what he's good at. So keep doing it, please. And we saw Daniel Jones use his legs more at some points. He had that big run before the half, right before the Hail Mary. He threw that, bullcrap interception. I don't count it personally. Yes, it'll go on his stats. I don't really care. It doesn't, matter to me. But yeah, he had a nice couple runs in this game. It wasn't design runs, but still, Daniel Jones used his legs when he had to. And the Giants, before I get there, Joe Judge, again, didn't have the best game coaching, in my opinion. He'll get credit because they won this game. But there was a 4th and 1 on the Saints' 17-yard line. It was the, first quarter, 0-0 game, I believe the score was. And they kicked the field goal, and they missed. Graham Gano, who's usually automatic, missed the field goal. Probably some bad karma there from Joe Judge because, why even kick the field goal there? 1 yard out, you're on the Saints' 17, you're 0-3. You were 0-3. I thought he should have went for that. And, of course, Graham Gano missed the field goal, so that was not what I wanted to see as a fan. But anyway, the Giants were down 21-10 midway through the 4th quarter, and I really did think they were going to lose this game. I told you guys that on the top of the video once again. I didn't have much confidence that we're going to be able to score in a game like this because New Orleans has a great defense. We're on the road. Our offense really hasn't shown much except for one game, which was the Washington Week 2 game. And, of course, last year we had a tough offensive year. And then something clicked for this Giants offense, and it all changed. It was the big Saquon play. Then they started getting a bunch of chunk plays in the passing game. Overtime, they were pushing the ball downfield once again. And Jason Garrett actually had a really good call. There was a play where the Giants had a 2nd and 9, and I think there was some type of penalty. I forget what it was exactly, but there was a penalty. The Giants were moved back to a 2nd and 14. Jason Garrett calls a great screenplay for Saquon Barkley. He makes a couple of guys miss, I feel like. They went 16, 17 yards, got the first down. Then the big play to Golladay happened, and the Giants pretty much got inside the 10-yard line. Saquon ran it in, and the rest was history. So while Jason Garrett wasn't phenomenal, he had one sequence that really annoyed me today. There was one time where the Giants, they got inside the 5-yard line. I forget what happened before that, but the Giants got inside the 5-yard line. Daniel Jones was passing all over the Saints defense on this drive, and you figure just stick with it. And then, of course, Jason Garrett runs an inside handoff to Barkley. He got stuffed for 1 yard or no gain. Then the next play was an Evan Engram end-around play that went for -3 yards or something. Then I think the next play was an incomplete pass to, I think, Kyle Rudolph, and they settled for a field goal or something like that. So that annoyed me. Stick with the freaking pass. Why are you trying to get cute and do an end around to Evan Engram when Daniel Jones is passing all over the Saints defense? That kind of annoyed me, honestly, but it is what it is. When winning cures all, I can get over that for sure when you win. So as for the defense, it wasn't the worst performance, but definitely saw some stuff I didn't like. I'll put it that way. They gave up over 400 total yards of offense, but they were good in the red zone for the most part. The Saints, yes, they had 3 touchdowns in this game, but we weren't getting killed. We gave up a lot of yards, but not a lot of points. I think Aldrick Rosas missed a 58-yard field goal, former Giant kicker. That definitely helped, but still, giving up 21 points while giving up 400 yards, it kind of speaks to your red zone defense. So the Giants did a good job of that, in my opinion. They gave up yards, but not a lot of points. So I think I can live with giving up 21 points here to the Saints. Now, Adoree Jackson, James Bradbury. Adoree Jackson had a couple of bad missed tackles in this game. I believe Adoree had 2 run-ins with Taysom Hill that did not go his way. Of course, Taysom Hill had that 1 touchdown, the first one I think he had, where legit 5 or 6 Giants defenders couldn't tackle him. It was very embarrassing. Leonard Williams had a bad effort on that play. I remember watching that. It was not good, and he was breaking all these tackles and dragged 5 guys into the end zone. So Taysom Hill, by the way, is pretty much a quarterback technically, so you hate to see that. But Bradbury gave up a big completion in this game to, I think, Marquez Callaway. It might have been the first play for the Saints out of halftime, and then he bounced back with an interception like one of the next plays. So like he did get beat deep in one play, but he bounced back. I think Bradbury may have had one missed tackle in there as well, but it wasn't like a bad game for Bradbury. He's definitely made up for it with the interceptions. Like even week 2 against Washington, he was not playing well versus Terry McLaurin, but had the big interception. Yes, the Giants lost the game, but it was a very clutch interception by James Bradbury. And that was a turning point in this game because there was a play where I think the score might have been, I don't know, maybe 14-7 Saints or something, I believe it was. And then they hit a touchdown, a long touchdown to somebody. And they called a holding, though, on Adam Troutman, the tight end for the Saints. And I think Leonard Williams actually caused that holding call. So I give Leonard Williams some credit for that. But if that didn't happen, the Giants would have been down 21-7, I believe, early in the third quarter. And that kind of would have put the nail in the coffin, I feel like. I don't know. I mean, I could be wrong, of course, because the Giants had a much better offensive output in the fourth quarter. But that would have been a very big hit. So the Giants basically went from 21-7 potentially. They had that touchdown taken off the board. Then it stayed 14-7. They got the interception and got the ball back. So that definitely, that one holding call with Adam Troutman on Leonard Williams changed the entire complexity of the game. And Leonard Williams, didn't have many pressures, I feel like, or sacks once again, but he was involved in this game. He was very good against the run in this game. He stood out against the run. Alvin Kamara had a good game, I will say. I have to admit it. Alvin Kamara played very well, as I expected, honestly. Had over 100 rushing yards, I believe. Had over 20 carries. He was involved heavily, as I expected once again. But Leonard Williams was there. Even Dexter Lawrence made a pretty big play in this game. It was early, but he sniffed he sniffed out a screenplay and he tackled the guy for a loss. I forget if it was Kamara, it probably was, but he made a nice play in the first quarter, I believe it was. So yeah, those guys made some plays on the defensive line. Even Danny Shelton, I remember, had a tackle. Even guys like Reggie Ragland had a nice game. Reggie Ragland was big in the first half for sure. Tay Crowder was making tackles as well. Logan Ryan made some nice tackles. Like there were guys on defense that were playing well for the most part, but once again, not enough pressure. Jameis Winston had a lot of time in the pocket. There were a couple of plays where Jameis did his usual, like, just magician work and got out of, like, a bad situation like he usually does. But, the Giants' pass rush for the most part was not there. This is the first game without an Azeez Ojulari sack. Hate to see that. But the Giants had no sacks in this game. But on the flip side, the positive side, the Saints didn't have a sack on us either. So, the Giants' offensive line played well. But the Saints were down two of their best offensive linemen, excluding Ryan Ramczyk. Like, they were down to Ron Armstead and Eric McCoy, who are, the starting left tackle and center. So the Giants probably should have taken more advantage of that, especially with a pretty healthy defense for the most part for the Giants. But hey, they got it done, and Daniel Jones was kept upright the entire game, so I guess that's fine. So yeah, Dexter Lawrence, Leonard Williams looked better. The Taysom Hill plays obviously pissed me off. You want to see your guys tackle there. I don't know if they're teaching them to wrap up the correct way or not, or what like that. I don't know if it was a lack of effort, the tackling technique. I don't know what it was. It was just not what you want to see, especially when a quarterback and Taysom Hill is dragging your defenders for a touchdown. So you hate to see that. But anyway, now we have a game in week number 5 that we actually can care about. Because if the Giants were 0-4, I'm not going to lie, I probably would have been, I would have been bummed out because I would have felt like the season was over. Now, I have this little bit of hope that maybe somehow the season can turn around and something clicked for Jason Garrett and the offense. We'll see. Maybe Daniel Jones is in fact this franchise quarterback that some of you think he is and plays his way the rest of the year. I don't know. We'll find out. But anyway, they play at Dallas next week. Dallas has looked good. They beat the Panthers today pretty badly. It was like 36-24. It probably was worse. I think they had a garbage time touchdown. So yeah, Dallas's offense is clicking right now. Our defense has not been that great. In the red zone they've been better, I will say, but I feel like Dallas has been very good in the red zone so far. I don't have those numbers in front of me, but just watching the Cowboys, I feel like their red zone offense has been great. They definitely can pound the rock with Zeke down there. He's been great near the goal line, so gonna be tough, and I'll get into that preview on Thursday or Friday when I get to it. But I'm excited for week 5, though. That's all I can say. I am excited for it. I know they're 3-1, we're 1-3, but it's a big game. Once again, a must win for the Giants here because I think they play the Rams Rams after that. So yeah, the Giants got to win week 5 against Dallas. Hopefully they do that, but definitely a big win today. This was a great win to build off of. Hand up, I did not expect the Giants to win today, but hey, it's great to be proven wrong when it's a positive outcome, positive outcome for the teams you root for. So I will take that. Anyway, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments how we feeling. How's the first win feel this year? I'm excited. I'm gonna sleep like a baby tonight because the Yankees are in the playoffs. The Giants got to win. I think the Brooklyn Nets won their first preseason game. Not that I care, but still they won. So all 3 of my teams were victorious today, and 2 of those wins were very big. So hopefully you guys enjoy this video, and I'll talk to you guys next time.